This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. All right. So if you hear, you finally stop watching the highlight. You finally stop watching the Donovan Mitchell dunk that he did to that poor man on semi-national TV, on NBA TV. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just search Donovan Mitchell dunk right now. Just search it on YouTube. I promise you, it will pop up. Like, it was that big of. Here's how you know it was a poster. When you get dunk of the game on the away team's broadcast, and by the way, side note, Richard Jefferson, top 5 people you never want to get dunked on while he's on the call, because that dunk happened and Richard talked about it for the rest of the game. Like, no lie. That dunk happened like in the third quarter, and Richard Jefferson talked for the entire rest of the game about how bad that dunk was throughout the rest of that game. Like, that game got close and everything. And Richard Jefferson was like, that's just, oh, man. Like, just rub it. And he worked for the Nets. That's why I'm saying the Yes Network, the Nets paid for this broadcast. And even the Nets paid broadcast said, nah, man, that's dunk of the night. Donovan Mitchell put them things on that boy. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. If you have not seen it, watch it. Look, that took me through a journey. I'm gonna be real with y'all. That took me through a journey that made me feel old at the end of it, because I was watching that dunk and like, man, legitimately, but there was the Anthony Edwards dunk, but that wasn't like this one. This one was a little different. This like reminded me of what it was like when Blake Griffin was dunking on people. And then I thought to myself, well, how long ago was that? That couldn't have been that long ago. And then I remembered that was 2010. That was 13 years ago. That was a very long time ago. Like, Blake Griffin is ancient to most people who are under 18. Like, you ever think about that? Like, Blake Griffin's prime happened when some kid was 5 who's 18 right now. Like, that kid knows nothing. That 18, like, somebody's going to get drafted, and that man knows nothing of Blake Griffin's dominance for 2 years in the NBA. That is insane to me. But that was just a rabbit hole that I just went down. I was like, wow, I feel really old, because, like, Blake Griffin is only something that people who are, like, 25 and up are really going to understand. What Blake Griffin was doing to them boys back then, that was a Blake Griffin dunk. Like, that was prime Blake, from a man who is 6'3" to a dude who is 6'9". Like, the elbow to the chest, the reach back on the dunk, and then the ow. And then you know what else made it right? The body didn't move on the way down. Like, he didn't fall back. He was huh. And then he just stood right there in the chest out, and it got pushed. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Like, I don't care what the score of the game is at the end of it, if somebody get dunked on like that, you lost. You could have won the game. You lost, dog. That dunk is bigger than that one regular season game. And there's people who try to make fun, like try to ruin the fun. Like somebody did this once when like there was Anthony Edwards dunk talking about what did he shoot from free throw percentage? And it's like, shut up. That man just dunked on him, man. And that's now the Cavs won the game. They won the game. Don't worry about that. But they also won the battle, the war, and everything else in between. Donovan Mitchell, oh my God. What did the Nets do to make him mad? Is a question that I was wondering throughout this game, because Donovan Mitchell was on some other stuff in this game. First, early in the game, the man shoots a logo 3 for the fun of it and just smacks it. Like, he don't do that. Donovan Mitchell is one of the most careful players about where he takes his shots, when he takes those shots, and how many shots he takes in the first quarter, right? We know he's going to take a certain amount of shots from the elbow. He's going to take a certain amount of shots from the wing. He is almost robotic about it. And today, he decided to do random stuff. Like, what was said to Donovan Mitchell that made him react like this? Like, they won this game by 8. He was not happy. Like, I would be very afraid if I were Brooklyn of what he feels like is necessary to win this second game. He seems to be very focused. Now, that dunk aside, there was another conversation today because Brian Windhorst, and Brian, I respect his opinion, but I think he has a short-sighted opinion on the Cavs. He was talking about the Cavs, and he said the issue with the Cavs after they made the Donovan Mitchell trade is that they're limited in how they can improve because now we don't have the resources to trade for another star. I think that take is short-sighted. Although I could see how somebody got to it, I think it's short-sighted because it ignores the obvious fact or the obvious reality that the Cavs are a very young team. And that take assumes that that Darius Garland is as good as he's ever going to be. It's a cynical take that Evan Mobley is as good as he's going to be. And they're in their second and third years in the NBA, respectively. How many players that are all-star level are their best version of themselves in year 2 and 3? But that's the cynical take in position that take takes. When you say the Cavs cannot improve because of the Donovan Mitchell trade, even though they have 2 very, very young superstars on their team, 2 young players on their team who look to be superstars, that take is cynical. That take tells me that you don't think that Darius Garland can be any better than what he is right now. You think Darius Garland has peaked out. I don't believe that. I think there's so much more to his game that gets unlocked, and he's gotten better every year of his career, and he's made a huge leap last year. I feel like he made a better leap this year. He's a better game manager now. He's a better ball handler. He's a better facilitator. He's a more efficient shooter. I think he's much better this year than he was last year. They just relied on him more last year. And then Evan Mobley has made a monumental jump from year 1 to 2, routinely scoring 20 points, which he did not do in year 1. So to say that these dudes are just going to be as good as they're going to be already, that's one part of that take that I don't like. The other part is it ignores what the history is in the NBA. And the history is it takes a while to get there, right? It takes your team going playoff run after playoff run after playoff run to finally break through and become an elite team. Nobody should expect the Cavs to be an elite team in the NBA right now because the 3 teams that are elite right now in the NBA, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics, and the Milwaukee Bucks, and those 3 teams have been making the playoffs since LeBron was on the Cavaliers. Since 2018, those 3 teams have been making the playoffs. Those 3 teams with the same best players have been making the playoffs since 2018 and failing for multiple years. Milwaukee failed in the playoffs for multiple years. Boston failed in the playoffs for multiple years until they broke through and got to the NBA Finals. They haven't even won it yet. Philly's still trying to break through. So, of course, the Cavs aren't on that class. They're not experienced enough yet. They're not old enough. They're not mature enough as a team. Their best player or their best prospect is 21 years old. It's not their moment right now. Their moment's in a couple of years where they can really take a chance at it. Now, what the Cavs are in is they're a playoff team. And you got to spend years as a playoff team before you can become a championship team unless you have like LeBron James or Kevin Durant. And even the team that has Kevin Durant right now did that thing when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. You look at the Golden State Warriors. They spent a couple years just being a regular-ass team in the playoffs until they became the Golden State Warriors, right? Remember, it was them or the Clippers. Again, another conversation is going to make me feel old because this happened in 2010. But yes, this used to be a thing. Well, not 2010, 2012. This was a thing for a while with the Golden State Warriors. Will they break through? Will they not? I'm pretty sure if Brian Windhorst looked at the Golden State Warriors in 2012, he would have said the same thing. How can they get better? I don't see how they can get better. It's cynical. It's assuming that the players on the roster are as good as they're ever going to be. And that's not true when you have two very good, very young prospects on the team that the team's clearly built around. So that's what I don't get about that whole point of view. One, this team this year is going to look a lot different in 5 years just because they're going to age. And once Evan Mobley gets ready to take the reins as the best player on the team, once Darius Garland becomes the second best player on the team, the makeup of the team is going to be different. The same way the Bucks evolved from 2018 to 2019, 2016 to 2019, the same way the Boston Celtics evolved from 2018 to 2021, the same way the Philadelphia 76ers have gone through multiple incarnations of cores in order to find the right one. It's the same way the Cavs will eventually make that evolution. I don't understand the reason to be cynical about this. That's my whole take on it. If you're saying the Cavs can't improve, what you're saying is that Evan Mobley's not going to get any better. Darius Garland's not going to get any better. What about those two in their development over the last 2 years suggests that that's true? I could see the argument if Evan Mobley had plateaued this year or if Darius Garland had plateaued this year, but that's not true. They have not plateaued. They have gone up at a consistent rate. So that's my issue with that take. Now, the Cavs got a big win over the Brooklyn Nets. They need to win another one. That's 1 down, 4 to go. They should. They're a better team than the Brooklyn Nets. They're a better team than everybody below them. I think there's a bigger gap from 4 to 5 than what most people think. I also think that there's a little bit of a gap between 4 and 3. And then there's 1 and 2. Right? I don't believe Philly to be a serious contender. I think they'll be out by round 2. We'll see. And then there's the Milwaukee Bucks, who I think a lot of people are sleeping on, who I think are dominant. And then there's Celtics, who are pretty good too. So no, the Cavs aren't in that conversation with them yet. That's fine. This is their first playoff run. No team wins it all, or most teams don't win it all. Most dynasties don't win it all in the first year that they get their core to the playoffs. The Miami Heat didn't even do that when they added LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Well, not LeBron and Dwayne Wade, but LeBron and Chris Bosh. So that conversation bugged me, where people were trying to relitigate the Donovan Mitchell trade. The reason you make the Donovan Mitchell trade is because Donovan Mitchell makes you go from a fringe play-in team to playoff team. Maybe you get the 6th seed. Maybe you get the play-in, to a legitimate playoff team. You're going to get the 4 seed. Some years you're going to get the 2 seed. Some years you're going to get the 3 seed. And this team, these young players, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley, need that experience. They need years of that experience to be able to break through. Without Donovan Mitchell, you're not good enough to get that experience. We're developing players here, man. And too often we talk about basketball, sports in general, as if these aren't people. And when I say that, I mean people need experience. People aren't computer programs. This is not 2K. You cannot just simulate things and make it happen and boost overalls like that. You have to cultivate that growth with wins. You have to make your team better. Donovan Mitchell makes your team better. Donovan Mitchell affords you the experience of playing in a 7-game series. We didn't do that last year because we weren't good enough. Now we are. We're going to play in a 7-game series this year. We're not going to be in the play-in. Like, more than likely, not in the play-in. Unless a horrible collapse happens, we're not in the play-in. That was the goal. But so many people want it right now. And if they don't get it right now, they want to cry and scream about it. And you're missing the point. You're being cynical. You're being short-sighted. Look at the big picture. The Cavs are fine. That's my thoughts. Y'all let me know in the comment section what you all think. Have a great day. Have a good night.